What's happening, guys? Hope you're good. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're at Muscleworks and we're going to run you through a push session again. So there'll be a lot of chest and shoulder movements today. To be honest with you, the last couple of weeks I've kind of just been free flowing with it, and we'll talk a little bit more later about that and when is okay to do that and maybe when is not. I'm still obviously following my plan. I just want to enjoy my sessions. Some sessions I haven't log booked or tracked anything. I've come into a cruise now, so for this 8 weeks I just want to hold my performance here really, because food is obviously coming down at the same time that I'm entering into that cruise. So I'm not trying to go mad about it. I'll try and keep my strength, which I probably will, but I'm not going to be smashing 350 kilo deadlifts. You know, I was doing the heavier weights when I was on cycle on a lot more food. So this 8 weeks, still train hard, train heavy, but just enjoyment. And then we can push on after this diet phase, going into the next big off season basically. Because I've got this little diet phase now, and then I'll go back into off season again to put on some real size. So I'll take you through a push session today, starting with a pec deck. Make sure you're doing 3 sets. I've kind of reset most of my movements. So like when you've been pushing food, pushing drugs, getting massively strong, sometimes you'll find that technique starts to degrade a bit, as if that's the right word, or technique starts to suffer a bit, even though you're trying your best to keep your technique as good as possible when you're standardizing everything. But when you're pushing the heavy weights, sometimes your connection to the target area might not be as good. So what I do is when I start coming into a cruise or going into a little bit of a diet, like a tidy up, I'll reset most of my movements and make sure range of motion is as far as I can go, keeping the muscle under tension without putting the joints under stress. So for example, on a pec deck, I'm getting as full stretch as possible, maybe retracting my shoulders a bit and forcing my chest up to put that stretch on the whole of the pec. Then when I'm contracting, I'm looking to fully shorten the pec. Everybody says bring your elbows in and touch each other. That's fantastic, we should aim for that, but you will still have some reps where the elbows are slightly bent. Look at all the old school bodybuilders, they actually did this. You're still stimulating the pec. Try and get here, if not there should be good. Just make sure you get into failure. Long range on there, and you'll see the same today on my other movements. So as you can see, they're very close to the neck. As I said, the stretch is right here. I'm coming a lot deeper than I was. People will say work within your active range. Absolutely. But a lot of people think their active range is a lot less than it actually is. I can still safely bring that bar down to nearly touching my pecs, and my shoulders are absolutely fine. Touch wood, I've never had any bad shoulder injuries ever in my life. No rotator cuff injuries, no tears, no tendonitis. And I used to flat bench touching the chest because I used to do powerlifting based bench. So I'm coming nice and on, getting a lot more of a stretch. I'm actually going to have a pause at the bottom for 1 second, and I'm basically going to set this movement today. 2 plates was a warm up there. I'd like to be able to do 3 plates with a pause for about 8-ish. So we'll see. When resetting the movement like I'm doing now, I wouldn't aim to go anything below about 8 reps. But if I end up getting 6 of these, it's not the end of the world. Just kind of, this is my starting point for the new way of doing this movement. And I'll try and run this up during the cruise and the diet. If I can keep it there, that's fine. So we'll try 3 plates now. So as I said, that's a 30 kilo reduction off my top set of 7. But is it, or can it be slightly more effective in the long run? So we'll see. Oh, yeah, so 6 of those. Maybe should have gone a bit lighter, but I'm actually going to do 2 more sets of that now. Usually I run with my top set back off, but again, sometimes when just enjoying myself, I just want to do an extra set to get a bit of blood in there. I'm not too worried about doing an extra set if it causes a bit more fatigue. I'll do 2.5 plates and then probably 2, gradually increasing the reps as I go through. So that pause in there just ensures that you're not using a lot of momentum out of the bottom position and that it's all pec working for the first half and obviously triceps for the second. Oh. Usually get my EAAs in on the second half of the session. So obviously because I've started dieting, calories have come down. But today I tracked in a carb drink. So that's 50 gram of carbs. So I'm just gonna pull carbs down from my evening meals. So I have the carb drink for the first half hour of my session, and then I have the EAAs for the second half, purely because why would you drink a carb drink at the end of your session? You need the energy for the end of the session. So carbs first and then EAAs after. Oh. Right, we're going to move into shoulder press, plate loaded. So we did paused, normal incline. I did a high incline Smith, very high. It was even, both targeting upper pecs, different angle on both. And then we're actually going to do a bit of shoulder work now before moving into flat chest. Usually I only have like 3 compounds, but today I'm going to do 4 just because. So we'll finish shoulders, just lightish, 2 sets, and then we'll do the flat press and then finish with some isolation on arms as well. Do some flat chest. I've been running the same split, so doing, it is the same split. Doing push, pull, arms, or push and pull with arms in those 2 sessions, then a rest day, and then push, pull legs. So I reduced my leg frequency. I've started adding in some cardio now, doing Stairmaster, so I've got to be very careful that my knee doesn't flare. But I've been doing all my prehab work, and my legs are a lot stronger from certain movements on leg days. It was extensions that used to flare it up, whereas now I can do extensions, I don't get any pain the next day, no inflammation. So I've just got to manage that whilst I'm putting the Stairmaster back in. Doing 30 minutes cardio a day now. Food's dropped from like 5,500 a day to started off at 3.5, and we'll just taper down from there. I think Cal only wants like an 8-week tidy up. What am I going to get off? 15, 16 kilos, maybe, in that time, in 8 or 9 weeks. We'll just get there and then assess what we want to do from there, really. If I'm lean enough, we'll then push on again. But if we want another 2 or 3 weeks dieting, I'm happy. I don't mind. running a little bit flat, but that's just because your food comes down. Like when you initially start the diet phase, you've been on so much food. When you pull that down, you're gonna be less full than you were because you're on less food, and you've got the body fat there that you've accumulated in that 4-month off season. So for the first 4-6 weeks of your diet, you know, at the body fat levels I'm at, well, first 2 to 4 weeks, you're gonna feel flat and fat at the same time. But unfortunately, you just got to kind of deal with it. Unless you're one of these individuals that stays peeled in off season, there's going to be a point where you start a diet, you feel terrible, but you've got to get through that initial flat phase, and then you can kind of start to see what's underneath. After 4 weeks of me dieting, it's like, okay, I've pulled off 10 kilos or 8 kilos, you can kind of see what's what. Right, I think we'll wrap that there. So thank you for joining YouTube. I suppose we will, well, this is what I'm going to be doing. So finish me off season. You'll see the videos of that soon. Then we're going into this diet phase. Then we're most likely going into the last big push from August till March. And then we'll see where we're at and we'll go into our diet phase then. Thank you for all the support. Hope you're enjoying the YouTube. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.